All right, real quick one here about why you should get a home inspection when you're buying a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. I've had it happen a couple times now where I will get somebody under contract, meaning they found a house that they like and they put an offer in on it. We're kind of going through the escrow process and some little thing pops up that maybe they don't have the money to deal with or weren't expecting to deal with, maybe didn't catch when they were kind of going through the property first time, deciding whether or not they wanted to purchase it, and it causes a lot of problems for the buyer and the seller who's had their hopes up about this house, and the seller for their financial situation. It messes a lot of things up. So, and without getting too specific, I can think of like a number of times when it's like, if you would have just paid for a home inspection done by somebody who's competent, it would have saved you a lot of gripe. Because I mean, maybe if you're some kind of jack of all tradesman, and you can go on there and you can kind of look at things and see, okay, well, this HVAC's looking a little old, the hot water tank has a little bit of a leak to it. But the thing of it is, I've yet to come across a prospective home buyer that is willing to go crawl around in the attic or get down in the crawl space, or the real dirty parts of the house that people don't want to go into, where a lot of these sneaky problems can lie, or indicators of other issues. Like I had one place where there was mold in the attic that was kind of tough to see until you got like way down. Like if the entry to the attic was right here, then like 40 feet this way was where you saw it. And it turned out there were no, or not the correct kind of soffits were installed to ventilate the attic space, and that's why that had come up. But it's also a lot of little things too. Like there's no way that you're gonna be able to go into a house and look at all the different little things and take in all that stuff, because you might walk in and see, okay, yeah, cool, it's a nice little paint job, everything looks good, smells good, all right, make an offer, and then you do your second walkthrough and you notice, oh, well, the receptacle's cracked there, that faucet's a little leaky, we didn't see if the dishwasher, laundry machine, dryer, furnace, AC, we didn't see if any of that worked. And we have a phenomenon in real estate where once people get to the closing table, shit starts to get real, and we see people backing out. This could result in you losing the EMD. You could get sued by the seller for damages because now their property sat on the market for longer, which could have screwed up their entire life plan. Literally, I mean, literally, this shit is no joke. And especially when it's like, I think for the company that I use, it's $300 or $400. So I always recommend Weatherstone property inspections. If you're anywhere within, I want to say 50 or 60 miles of the Detroit metro area, they'll come out and they're absolutely fabulous. They do things correctly. They have a very well formulated and easy to read report. And it's like a homeowner, I don't care if you are some kind of super handyman or whatnot, you do not have like a de facto system. You do not have a checklist. You're not going through every room, trying every little thing. I mean, there are so many little things that can cause issue when you get into a house that you want to have all that kind of noticed beforehand. I've also had issues where folks will hire some uncle they know or some dude that they know, and oh yeah, he only charged us $200. We got the inspection taken care of, but oh, he missed this, and now we got to spend $10,000 on mold remediation when I just tapped out myself financially to cover closing costs on this property. So it can cause tons of problems. Again, I can't get too specific because I got to keep stuff on the down low. Obviously confidentiality is important when you're representing people in transactions, and it's also important to keep that stuff on the down low, after it's all said and done. Also on the flip side, as a buyer, depending of course on the market, so I would never recommend a strategy like this now unless it was some kind of specific happenstance. But when you go to offer on a place and you get it, the ball's sort of rolling in that process, and you come back with a litany of repair items from the inspector's report, that can give you a little bit of leverage when it comes to getting a lower price. In a market like we have now, I very much doubt that would work. I've had some success where the agent overprices the property, and it's a lot easier to negotiate down to a fair market value from there. But don't go thinking in a seller's market like it is in most of the United States now, even in podunk areas like Port Huron, Marysville, St. Clair County, that you're going to get away with a whole lot of wheeling and dealing. To that end, on a side note, be very aware of a tactic that's out there. Now I actually just had to deal with this from some scumbag asshole on a listing I had a little while ago, but basically what they did was bid up the house. So they won the bid against everybody else, and what they then did was took their sweet fucking time getting the inspection ready, to the point where I think it was like 2 weeks after we had an accepted offer. And once you get that, you got to either mark the house accepting backup offers or pending per like the MLS rules, not necessarily pending, but at least accepting backup offers, which fundamentally might be the same thing because now barely anybody's coming to look at it. And so what they did was drove up the bid with a decent offer package, mind you, with their financing and everything, and then did their inspection, which again, they took a lot of time to, you know, get ready and get going, I think on purpose. And then they came back with a repair or an inspection report, not done by the company I recommended, another one that was very professional. They did a good job. But this asshole that offered on my client's house tries to beat him up for like $15,000 or $20,000 off the purchase price. And I'm like, are you, so let me get this straight. You decide to pull a fast one by bidding more than you intend to pay and then trying to beat people down at the inspection. It's like, I get being Machiavellian and that sort of thing, but you realize that's somebody's life you're messing with. So you can maybe save a little bit of money on a house that's priced fairly to begin with. So that's just a little preview of the fun shit I get to deal with in this industry, you know, just unprofessional. But that's neither here nor there about inspections. So if, you know, you're going to buy a place and you don't have an agent, feel free to reach out to me. I've got all these great vendors lined up. I actually give a shit about what I do, unlike a lot of these folks. That's a whole other video in and of itself. But please just make sure, I know, you know, you're already gonna be spending several $1,000s when you go out to close the loan and do all that stuff, at least most of the time. So it's really, trust me, it is worth its weight in gold to just get that inspection, because you might find something that puts you, you know, onto a search for another property. So just, you know, be smooth out there. Buying a house ain't no joke.